Hi friends, today we are going to get to be scientists, which is really cool. I mean, we've been scientists, right? But we're going to do some more investigating, and we're going to investigate the different phases of matter. Now, we've talked about them. We know what solids are. Solids are anything that takes up space, and it has its own shape, and it has volume. And we know what liquids are. Liquids are matter, so they take up space, but they take up the shape of their container and they keep their volume. And we've touched maybe just a little bit on gases, and gases, obviously, they take up space and they take the shape of their container, but their volume can change. So each one's just a little bit different. Today we're going to look at what's going on with them. So we're going to use something that you have seen many times in different phases, and that's water. Water can be a solid, and we know solids have their own shape. Like my ice cube, it has its own shape. Now, the really cool thing about water is we can make it change phases pretty easily. In fact, if I hold that ice cube in my hands, and you can start seeing it drip. Do you see the drips? Yeah, that's because I'm changing it from a solid into a liquid. I'm sure you've done that before, right? I've got my liquid, and we can actually change that liquid into a gas. How are we going to do that? Well, just like to change water into a solid, we have to freeze it, so we have to change the temperature. Well, to change a liquid into a gas, we're going to make it go a little faster by changing the temperature. So, I'm going to put some water on my piece of paper. That way you can see that there's my water. Now, I'm going to change the temperature. And what this does is it makes the molecules, remember we talked about those molecules when we had those connecting cubes, and as a solid, they were squished really tight together. We couldn't go through them. Just like I can't walk through a table. With a liquid, they're spaced out a little bit more. That's why I can walk through a swimming pool, right? I can walk through that water. I can move because those molecules are spread out a little bit more. Well, a gas, those molecules are spread out even further apart, and that's why I can easily walk through the air, just like you. So I'm going to make these molecules spread out a little bit more. I'm going to heat them up, which is going to make them expand, and it's actually going to make them disappear. Pretty cool. That water disappeared, and the way it disappeared was it became a gas. Now, we see gases all of the time. Well, they're there. Do we really see them? Not usually, because they're usually clear. However, there's a gas that we see very frequently. And let's do a little investigating to see what that gas is. So, do you see the gas? Maybe. What if I put, oh, now you see it, don't you? Now you can see the steam coming off of my water that's in my pot that's boiling. I said we would see that all the time. Do you always see steam coming out of a pot? Probably a lot when mom or dad is cooking, but you actually see it outside. It's not steam, but it's water vapor, the gas made up of all these little water droplets. That's a cloud. Clouds are up there, and they have all these water droplets. See how they're all spread out? Before they were in there, we could see them. We could see them as a liquid. And now they're further spread apart. They're really, really tiny, and they're a gas. So we change the state of matter, which is cool. Like I said, clouds are gases. Little droplets of water, water vapor. And clouds can change into a liquid. Think about it. That's right, when it's raining, when these water droplets come together really close, it starts to rain. In fact, check out the inside of my pot. See how some of those water droplets collected in the inside of my pot? Well, that's rain droplets. Once they get big enough to fall, then all of a sudden, they come down from the sky. Pretty cool. So we've changed the state of matter. We went from a liquid to a liquid to a gas. We also went from a solid to a liquid. Now, the last thing we have to do is we have to go from a liquid into a solid. So, remember how I said that when we have a solid, it's because those molecules are really, really tight together? So let's do an experiment. If I put this water in my freezer, what do you think is going to happen? Make a prediction. Scientists like to make predictions. Okay, so I'll make another video once this water has frozen, and we'll see if you're right. I marked where my water level is, right here. That way I can see if this ice cube that it's going to be is going to get bigger or if it's going to get smaller. What do you think? If those molecules are pushed together more to become a solid, what's going to happen to that water level, which will now be ice level? Is it going to get bigger or smaller? All right, so I want you this week to investigate the phases of matter. Think about things that you could possibly freeze, or you can try my gas vapor with a parent, of course, watching and noticing the differences between the steam, the liquid, and the solid. You can experiment with ice, and if there's still snow, I'm filming this pretty early from when we're actually going to watch this, but there's snow today. Great experiment. Bring it inside. See what happens. Okay, that's it. Do your experiment. Tell me about the phases of matter, what they are, and what happens as they change.